Everyone, in this video I'm gonna show you how to complete your first assignment, which is to write a professional email. Just make sure you ask in advance to your student success mentor who are you gonna send this email, either to your professor or to your student success mentor. So let's begin. You will open a Google page and then you will need to type my LAECC. Then you press enter. And then you're gonna click in the link that it says My LaGuardia Student Portal Q. Once you click it, it will ask you for your username and password. So at this point you will need to have your username and password. You have as well instructions of what is your username and password. It's at the bottom of the page. You have some technical issues, just make sure you ask to your student success mentor. So I'm gonna write my username and password right now. Okay, once you log into your LaGuardia account, you will see the home page, then you will need to scroll down, and then you will see eTools. Under eTools, you will see different icons. You're gonna click email. So you click it, and then it's gonna ask you for your email and your password. So just make sure that you have that as well in advance. You have some technical issues, make sure you ask to your student success mentor. So I'm gonna type it. And in this case, sometimes it will ask you for some specific code if you make some changes in the settings. Sometimes it's not gonna add you anything. So now, at this point you already log in and then you will see something similar. So pretty much sometimes you will see some of files that you uploaded or you sent or received through your email, as you can see here for my classes, but you will need to click in the top, right? In the top left corner you will see these 9 dots. So you're gonna click it and then you will see different apps. So I'm gonna select Outlook. As you can see below apps, Outlook. So I'm gonna click it. And this is pretty much your LaGuardia student account. It's really important that you have access to your LaGuardia account because you will see different emails about opportunities, about scholarships, and it's really important that you can watch it every single day or probably 3 times per week. It's really important that you take a look at every single email. So now I'm gonna click new message. As well, you can see it in the top left corner, and then you are gonna type to who are you gonna send this email. So the email in this case, I'm just gonna select for your student success mentor. As I mentioned, just make sure that you ask them who is gonna be the person who is gonna receive the email. Most of the time, your student success mentor will be the person, okay? So I'm just gonna select a random email, but just make sure that you have the email in advance. Then you can skip the CC. CC pretty much is somebody else that you wanna attach to the email. So the CC is the person who is gonna receive as well the email, but it's not directed to that person. Just only 2. This is the difference. 2 is the person who received it and who is the person who is gonna have all the instructions in the email, and the CC is somebody else who can have like also access to the email. Now add a subject. So in this case you are gonna just type the class that you are taking right now. So let's say ECF 90 and then 1, 2, 3. This is just an example. And then you're gonna type your name. Usually it's gonna be so different every single time that when you send an email. So sometimes you can just write introducing myself, for example, because that is the purpose of this email. If you wanna type it, it's up to you. But pretty much for this assignment, just make sure that at least you have the class and your name. And you can add some extra information. But make sure that when you send an email to your teacher, to your professors, or any other staff, you need to make sure that you write a short description of what is the purpose of this email. Now, let's begin with the body of the email. So most of the time you will need to address to your professor or any other staff in a professional way. So how? You can say, for example, dear Professor Brand. For example, I'm writing a random last name. Hello, Professor Brand. These two are my favorites. Sometimes most of the time I use hello, but just make sure as well that you need to ask to your professor which is the best way to address the email. Sometimes they prefer to use their last name, some of them prefer just the first name, so just make sure that you ask them in person or when you have time. I'm just gonna use the last name. Hello, Professor Brand. Now, in this case, because this email is addressed to your students as mentor, you can just type, for example, dear, let's say Mr. or Miss, then as well Brand, because I'm using this last name, and then that's pretty much the greetings. Now the body. I always begin with this small sentence. I'm wishing a good health for the person who is receiving this email. I hope this email finds you well. It's up to you if you don't want to write it, but this is how I usually write my emails. And then you need to identify yourself, you need to introduce yourself. So I'm gonna say, my name is Luis de la Cruz Javi. I have a long name, long last name. So just make sure that you write your full name so the professor will know who is sending the email. And that's pretty much how you can begin any emails when you are trying to have a conversation with somebody else. This is the most professional way. Okay, so now the purpose of this assignment is that you need to introduce yourself to your students as a mentor or professor. So now, how can you introduce yourself? So I have 3 questions over here that you can just discuss. You need to answer these 3 questions in your email. Remember, these 3 questions. Let me make it a little bigger so you can see it. Why do you choose LaGuardia? Why do you choose your major? And what are your short and long-term goals? So let's begin. I hope this email finds you well. My name is Luis de la Cruz Javi. Let's say, and this is my first semester. Or you can say, and I'm taking your class. Taking your class, and then you specify on Tuesday, for example. So you can either use any of these two, either writing this is my first semester or I'm taking your classes on Tuesday, something like that. Then you answer the first question, why do you choose LaGuardia? Let's say I chose LaGuardia because it's close to my home, or because I found my major in this university, in this college. So there are so many ways that you can just answer this question. The second one, why do you choose your major? I decided to choose this major because, and then you explain why. probably because somebody in your family has the same major, probably because you found appealing how much your major can make you earn money. So there are so many reasons. And the third one, what are your short and long-term goals? My short-term goal is, I don't know, for example, it can be to graduate in 2 years, to get an internship after 2 years, or during my semester. And then my long-term goal, it can be, I plan to follow a bachelor degree or a master degree, doctorate, create my own business, something like that. Once you finish, then you need to conclude your email. So you can end with best, sincerely, thank you. So there are so many words that you can use to end your email. And finally, also one of the most important parts of your email is to write your full name. So this is pretty much how it should look, your email. Remember, this is how it should look. Then you just click send, and then you can just ask to your SSM if he or she received yet the email, and that will be the completion of the first assignment.